Hello y'all, I am finally back to do another jewelry making video with y'all. Sorry it's been so long, but shout out to y'all, all the new subscribers that have watched any of my old videos and actually subscribed and stayed around. Shout out to you. So we're gonna try to make this quick and simple. All I am doing today is a repair on my bracelet. It got snagged on my dresser. And as you can see, the lobster clasp broke. So all I will be doing today is replacing the lobster clasp. So it's going to be a quick and easy basic solder job. I'm going to show you the tools that you would need to do something simple like this, a simple soldering job. So we have the bracelet there and we have the replacement. Here's my lobster clasp with a jump ring. It's an open jump ring already attached. I will be using my third hand. To help. I'll need my pliers just to cut off the old lobster clasp, a solder pick. Please don't judge my solder pick. I got these from Amazon and they cannot stand the heat, okay? I have my wire solder here, and of course we will need our torch. And I also have my my barrier flux mixed and ready. If you need a tutorial on how to make the barrier flux, go ahead and check out the video that's already posted on my YouTube. Yes, and then we'll also have our solder flux I have here with my boric acid cone. Okay, so let's hop right into it since we have all the tools. Okay, so okay, and I also forgot to mention that you will need needle nose pliers, and I also have these flat nose pliers with the nylon grip, which nylon grip are game changer when it comes to working with gold fill, because don't forget we are working with 14 karat gold fill, so it's a little bit of a switch up. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. The old bracelet is here, and we're going to use our plier cutters. To go ahead and just snip it. I could just take off the damage, and maybe that's what I would do. It would add a little length to this bracelet. Or you know what? I'm just going to cut the whole thing off. I hope my hands aren't in the way, but I mean, I'm just cutting it off. So snip, open it, take it off the bracelet. And now all we have is the end of the chain. Okay. And now we're gonna need our needle nose pliers, and we're gonna use this to get the jump ring open. And remember, when we're opening jump rings, we don't pull them apart, we twist them apart. So I'm gonna use my my needle nose pliers and then my nylon pliers. Hopefully you have a good view. And I'm just gonna twist one to the left, the other to the right. Twist and open. This jump ring is pretty small. So sorry, I might have to bring it off camera a little bit, just so I can see what I'm really working with. Okay, so I have it slightly open there. Open enough for me to be able to get the bracelet through. And you want the jump ring, for the most part, to maintain its shape. So it's open, and all I need to do is slide the bracelet around like so. Like so. You see that's the opening. And all we're gonna do is close that right back up, same way, or just the opposite way that we did to open it. Okay. I'm gonna bring it to my face a little bit just so I can see, because I want this to be flush. Because when we're soldering, there are basic rules that you want to follow, and the first being to solder something close or solder two things together, it has to be a flush, even surface. So that means if there's an opening, and I think I got this one pretty flush. If there is a opening, even if it's small, because when we're working with jewelry, we're usually working in millimeters anyway, right? So we're working with small measurements already. So even a small gap can throw off your soldering job. It can make it harder to actually get it closed, especially when it comes to a jump ring, right? And we want it to stay closed. We want the jewelry to stay together. Okay, so luckily, you know, when I did yank my bracelet, we saw that the lobster clasp only opened. It didn't even really break off. It just got like twisted open. So I could have closed it back probably. Let me check this out. Right, I could have just probably shaped it back into it, but you know, it wasn't worth it. I might as well just do a quick replacement. So boom, we have our flesh join setting, and I'm just gonna check it with my eye. If you could see like any light through it, then it's not as flesh. But this one is actually pretty good, if I say so myself. So what I'm going to do, here's my barrier flux. I'm gonna drop this whole thing in here. And barrier flux is another key when it comes to working with 14 karat gold filled. You need to put a barrier so the 14 karat gold on the outside does not end up mixing into the metal, the base metal on the inside. Okay, and that could possibly turn your gold filled jewelry pink. And there's kind of like a pink hue to my my barrier flux, just because I was polishing with my red rouge, and so it looks a little pinkish. But yeah, as we can see, that is covered in the barrier flux. And what I am doing right now, I'm just looking for the join, because that's where we're going to be soldering at. And this is when I am going to employ the use of my third hand. I see my solder join is right here, right there. Yeah, so I don't know if you could really see, but there's a line of indentation that I can see is right there. So I'm making sure to take notice of where the joint is, because that's where I'm going to lay the solder as I go into solder. So we've applied our barrier flux. So if we were working with silver, all we would need to use is the solder flux, and that's just to help the solder flow evenly. But since we are working with 14 karat gold fill, we put a barrier flux to protect the jewelry from the heat, to protect the gold layer from the heat. And then we also need to put the solder flux to make sure the solder flows. So, and all I'm gonna do, let's just put it right there on the joint, just a little drip drip. Okay, so now the solder flux is on there. I have not cut my little piece of solder, and this is a small bracelet. We do not need much solder at all. And this is my first time using this solder block. I'm like, these holes look kind of big, like I could drop a piece of solder down there. So I don't need a lot whatsoever. I'm just gonna cut a little piece, and here's the little piece I cut. I probably literally still made it too big, if you can see that. And I'm using 14 karat gold extra easy solder. So 14 karat gold extra easy solder. Okay, so when you're soldering gold fill, it's best to use a 14 karat gold, so that way it matches. And I don't use gold filled solder, even though it exists, just because I like the gold to be at the joins. Like, that's for sure gold you don't have to worry about at all. So yeah, but that's another spiel for another day. I made sure that my torch is filled up with the butane. I use a butane torch. There's the join. We've soldered everything. Now let's turn our torch on. Ooh. It's a little high. So first we're gonna go in with our torch. We're just gonna start by heating it up a little. When we're working with gold fill, we don't need to heat up the whole piece, especially since we're just working on a jump ring. It's not gonna need a lot of heat. So I've kind of heated it up about as much as I'm going to. And you need to be careful when you're working with lobster clasps. I've found is that if you get it too hot, sometimes you can like meld it shut. So that was something I had to work on with my flame control. So I don't know if you were able to see me heat up the solder and turn it into a little ball, but the ball is right here on my tip. You see that? That's the ball of solder. And I am just gonna put that right on the joint as I heat both. Now it shouldn't take long before that solder flows once the temperature reaches what it needs to be at. And I have my solder pick right behind it just to be able to guide it where it needs to go. And if you can see, it's already flowing. That solder joint is closed. And that's it. Quenching. My pickle is in my kitchen, and so that's where I will go ahead and throw it. Let's check it out. Look, it kind of a little bit too much solder. If you look there, it needs to be cleaned up a little. But look, I like to check and make sure it didn't flow all the way around, which I don't think it did. It just needs to be cleaned. Make sure that it opens, because like I said, sometimes it could get closed, and it will open. It's just stuff in the middle. So that is that. I'm gonna clean it up and show you the end result. But yeah, jewelry repair, that easy, and I procrastinate them for weeks. This bracelet has been broken for weeks, even though I know I could fix it in 5 minutes. So hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, comments, go ahead, leave them down below. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you shop Nays Touch Jewelry. This is called the mini bracelet, and it's actually one of my favorite bracelets. I'm glad I finally fixed it. But under $50. Christmas is coming up. Like, you want just a cute bracelet to get your girl, go ahead and do it. I'll actually be repairing my Figaro next. So for my girls or for my men, we have various sizes. Go ahead and make sure you check that out. And we also have kids sizes. I don't think on the site, but if you DM me on Instagram at Nays Touch Jewelry, or leave a comment, or find my email from my website, hit me up and you can get your kids bracelet too. Okay, so peace and blessings. Thank you for watching.